Welcome to Salcedo Paranormal. It is Tuesday, May 17th, 2022. And today I'll be sharing true paranormal stories from the web. As always, you can find the podcast and all the episodes of the podcast, as well as links to social media, ways to donate, and ways to contact me at the podcast page. And that is salcedoparanormal.podbean.com. SALSIDO paranormal.podbean.com. Always happy to hear from you all, whether you have comments or questions or topic suggestions for shows, or if you have stories of your own paranormal experiences or others that you trust. Always happy to share those, whether I read them on the show or I have you join me on the show to talk about them. And I believe that takes care of everything I had to do for the beginning of the show. So I will just get right into these stories. So let's see here. So this first one says, I'm a 39-year-old woman, and I had a strange dream last night. In my dream, when I turned my back, my 10-year-old self was looking at me. I was quite shocked to see her and asked, "What are you doing here?" She didn't say anything and left the room. I regretted my reaction and thought, oh, now she would think she was not wanted. I had to fix it. I left the room in the hope to find her. And there she was. She was doing her homework in my grandmother's small room. When she noticed me, she smiled at me, and I felt love for her. It was like, oh, she is alone and trying so much as always. Then I woke up. When I told my dream to my mother, she told me that you always did your homework in that room when we visited your grandmother. And somehow, I had no recollection of it. I feel it has a deeper meaning and wanted to share with you all. What do you think? Thanks for reading. And this was posted on the website, so so yeah, I thought that was a neat story. Makes me wonder, though, if that was, I guess you could almost, I don't know how to really define that one, because it seems like, and this is trying to apply logic to a possibly illogical situation, but um, if if the writer saw themselves as 10, I don't know if they really saw themselves physically. I feel like if they did, they would have that memory somewhere. Maybe it was more of a vision, like they said. I don't know on that one, but that's just the idea of that is really it's intriguing in a way. What happens? What would happen if you did see yourself as younger, basically your younger self? How would that affect everything? So, just wanted to share that. Thank you all, by the way, for being here. I see you all there in the chat and in the stream, listening. So, but yeah, so just wanted to share that and see what you all think. Just because I don't know, but thought that was a neat one there. So, but yeah, I've never had that happen. I've had plenty of weird paranormal dreams, but nothing like that, which is probably good. But it's funny to say given the other things I have had happen, but that's one thing I don't think I really would care to experience. So, But anyway. Oh, okay. Ken says we see you too. I'm viewing through Logan's eyes. Well, then that's possible, except I don't see her anywhere. So she's either invisible or just hiding really well. Can't say. But anyway, um, so yeah, that's the first story, and I'll get on. Excuse me, I'll get on to the second one here. It says, when I was younger, maybe about 18, I'm a female and 25 now. A friend and I were walking down the road in his neighborhood. It was nice outside, and not quite fully dark yet, around dusk. He was ahead of me, and there were streetlights lining the street. I can't remember if something caught my eye, so I looked, or I just happened to be looking up to my left near the street lamp at the time. But all of a sudden, I kind of noticed it get a little brighter, gradually getting more and more bright. Too bright. I kind of stopped in my tracks, and my eyes widened. And then a burst of light just shot out of or into the light. This was so long ago now, I truthfully can't remember this detail. Zooming to or from the sky and just vanishing. I kind of just stood there for a few seconds, dazed, because I was like, I didn't really see anything, did I? I didn't get any sort of feeling or thought from this thing. I just saw whatever this was. All of this happened within the span of maybe 6 seconds. My friend noticed I wasn't walking anymore, and he turned around, now farther ahead, and asked, "Did you just see that?" Oh, I'm sorry, and I just asked, "Did you see that?" And he said, "See what?" I said, "I don't really know, like a really bright light that shot in or from the sky." He kind of laughed it off, but he's a believer in otherworldly things, so he didn't think I was crazy or anything. Or like he didn't believe me. We hit them walking on that nice, cool night. I was confused about what I'd seen. I tried to just put it out of my mind and enjoy the rest of the night. I'm not sure if this is anything paranormal. I know it's not really much to go on. But if you have any ideas or anything similar has happened to you, comment. Thank you. So that's the end of that story. Um, and the the light, excuse me, the light, um, the light. See that in chat? I'm not going to read it just because I refuse to give any more ammunition to the friend that mentioned that. So, but anyway, um, that is odd. That the light going from or coming to the street lights. I've never heard of that. Makes me think of some kind of orb, maybe, or at the very least, the energy transfer. Also makes me think of the way some people can have this energy about them that can turn things, electronics or streetlights, on and off. I wonder if they had anything to do with it. I don't know, or they just saw something really, really strange. Again, going to the streetlight though, that gets back to that whole idea that comes up on the show every so often about the connection between the paranormal and electricity, and what that means and how that works. All those questions that I don't think we really have good answers to. other than it just does have to have something to do, obviously, with energy and electricity and electromagnetism and all that stuff. So yeah, that's the first I've heard of a story exactly like that. So that's why I had to share. Um, so let's see here. I'll go on to the next story. And yeah, I thought that was a cool story as well. So okay. This third story says I have some pepper seedlings that I started in some containers a few weeks ago. They've been sitting on my kitchen window ledge. I've started moving them into shade outside in the evening to harden them off before I repot them. It's been really hot and dry where I'm at lately, so I bring them in the morning back to a window ledge. Yesterday, I moistened their soil and set them outside under my roof eave and behind some cacti. I'm not sure if that's. Anyway, I have potted to shade them from the morning sun. This morning I went out to get them, and the containers were full to the brim with standing water. It did not rain last night, and there was no morning dew. All my other outside plants, all potted cacti, were dry. Nothing else seemed out of place, and my security cameras show nothing. So, that's where that story ends. I don't know um, how that works or how that would work, um, unless there's a leak from the house somewhere. But I know you would think if there was a leak, I don't have to come from the very spot above the plant. I would think to get that, and then you would think it would it wouldn't just get that particular plant. It would get the surrounding areas. Again, I don't know. I'm no expert in how buildings work and leaks and all that stuff, but but saw that one and I just didn't know how to explain it, so there you go. There's that one. Um, so yeah, I just feel like if there was some kind of natural thing, then there'd be water other places, not just in that one pot or that one plant. Um, so here, okay. This says the first time it happened at a restaurant. A dime randomly fell into my lap. I blame my partner, who claims that he never threw a coin at me. This was a week ago or so. The second time, I was in my own bathroom and I wiped my hand on a hanging towel, and a dime fell onto the floor next to me. It seems like it fell from the ceiling, but it definitely could have been in the towel. Maybe while doing the laundry, some spare change got inside it. Is there any specific meaning to having random 10-cent coins appear around you mysteriously? And of course, I don't have an answer to that question, but I will say that is not the first story I've heard of that. Um, Coins appearing like that. Sometimes it's pennies, sometimes it's dimes. Really, the type of coin, that, as far as I know, it can change. It can be different from case to case, but that is something that people report. Um, I'd be curious to know what years the coins were. If they were from far enough back, that could have more meaning maybe than if there are current ones. I'm just guessing again. I don't know. Um, but yeah, I'm not sure on that one. But like I said, that's not the first I've heard of that. So whatever it is, it's out there. You can probably do some searching around online for similar stories and find them. But it's also still rare enough where you don't hear about it all the time. So that's why I wanted to bring it up. Um, so this might be a quick episode today, but I did find half a dozen stories the way I usually do. So, oh well, that's okay. This says, this one says, this is not quite, or this isn't quite a ghost story because I'm not sure if the thing I saw was a ghost. A couple of years back, when I was a teen, I was driving up a canyon out of a small town in Utah. It was the middle of the day, and the sun was out, and there were only spotty clouds. The road I was using was pretty isolated, but not totally out of the way. Every once in a while, I would pass an oil rig off to the side of the road, and occasionally a small house or a couple of cows would be a little further back from where I was driving. There weren't any trees blocking my line of sight, and any shrubbery was either just scraggly juniper bushes or grass that would barely reach past your ankles. They say again, Utah. I was enjoying the drive a lot because for me, driving time is me time. I was looking around, taking in the scenery, when I saw something to my right. About 75 feet back, standing near an oil rig, was a person. At first, I didn't think anything of it. There have to be people to occasionally maintain an oil rig. But then I looked closer, and what I saw was anything but human. It had 2 legs and 2 arms, but that is where the similarities stopped. It looked like it was made out of black scribbles, like if you took a pen and randomly scribbled across a sheet of paper. In between the black scribbles was a stark white. I could not see anything through the creature. Its arms were long enough to reach mid-calf, and it didn't quite have normal hands. Instead, it looked like branches twisting off the main trunk of its arms. It didn't really have a head or a neck. Instead, it sort of just had a slight bump rising from the top of its torso. At the front of the bump, it had eyes of a sort, but it was more like 2 blank spots where the scribbles didn't cross, leaving 2 blank white circles. It was hunched over, but even then I could tell it was big. It reached about a third of the way up the oil rig. I saw this thing in pure daylight. I wasn't sleepy, and I had only been on the road for about an hour and a half before I saw that thing. I made complete eye contact with it, but it didn't necessarily make me feel scared. Just uneasy. Has anyone else seen anything like this? Or did teen me just have a split-second flash of insanity? Also, the black scribbles that made up the creature were constantly writhing. So, that's where that one ends. Anyone have an idea of what that is? Because I don't. I have no idea. Except it sounds almost like a drawing, a partial drawing of something. Which is really odd. It really makes me wonder if it's some kind of I don't even know. Maybe some kind of a tulpa, some kind of a creation from someone that somehow got enough energy to go out on its own. Um, yeah. APOC says there are sightings that look like drawings or feedback on TV fuzz. Yeah. And I've heard of the static, but I've never heard of this. I've also heard of different cartoonish or cartoon-like images appearing, but this is like it's not even a complete image of that. So I read this and I had to read it a couple of the sections over to make sure I was reading it right. Um, so yeah, this is middle of the day. They said, um, yeah, I don't know, cartoons, maybe a combination. I Yeah, I have no idea with that. So, like I said, the feeling I get is like an incomplete or somehow some kind of image that was started but maybe stopped because it wasn't working. Um, but I don't know. Just the description of it almost being like paper with these dark scribbles on it that are moving. Yeah, I have no idea how to classify that. That is true. I had forgotten that I heard of stories of like cartoon-like images or um, even stick figures, but this isn't even a stick figure necessarily. So, yeah. So apparently someone is doing some yard work not too far from me right now. Hopefully that doesn't come through. But it's kind of odd considering it's 8:22 at night, unless it's some kind of motorbike. But anyway, um, so yeah, I don't know what to make of that one. That one caught me off guard. You read enough stories, you kind of start to see. Oh, good, okay. You start to see patterns and similar. You start to see a lot of similar experiences. Not that that means I ever discount them or think less of them. It's just you see a lot of similar things once you start listening to or reading a lot of these things. Um, yeah, Moonwalk. I don't know. I kind of, if it didn't give off any bad feelings, I'd be okay with it. But it'd have to be a little distance. It had to be like the story where it was a little ways away. But Moonwalk says would not want to encounter that thing. I don't know. I might. I if I could control the situation, then maybe. But beyond that, no. Like I wouldn't want to be right next to it just in case. Who knows what kind of physical contact or any kind of contact with that would be like. So, but I have one last story here to go through. But yeah, um, that one I don't know. Okay, so this one says we had a small bakery in our college. A friend and I used to visit the bakery daily for a chicken roll and a chocolate cake. The guy who runs the bakery was kind-hearted and would give us our order, even if we didn't have money that day. We would pay him the next day. During our study holidays, a few of our friends decided to stay in the college, and the bakery was closed, as there would be very few students, and it would be a loss for him to come. One afternoon, my friend and I went to get some stationery and saw the bakery owner. We knew that the bakery was closed, and he just passed the bakery and didn't notice us. We spoke to ourselves and asked, why didn't he come today? I'm sorry, why did he come today? as the bakery is closed, and decided maybe the bakery is open for a few hours in the morning. The next day, we told our friends that the bakery might be open, as we saw the owner come the previous day. My friends mentioned that he had passed a week ago. And that's where that story ends. So, what did they see? Did they see some kind of residual image of him? Um, there's a few different options there. Like I always say, residual, time oriented, or some kind of he was there for some reason in spirit form, just wanting to be there and be near the place. Maybe. The fact that he didn't seem to interact with the writer and their friend makes me wonder if it was more along the lines of the residual. But of course, it's hard to say. But yeah. So I don't know. It just seems like almost your typical ghost story in a way, or one of the versions anyway. Like I said. So it's those endings are always kind of neat in a way. Sad for the person, but excuse me, but it's still very interesting. But anyway, as my voice seems to be temporarily going, I guess I might as well end the episode here. Thank you all for listening. I'll be back tomorrow night with another book review, and so we'll go from there. But yeah, I thought that would get me through a half hour. Almost did, but oh well. Thank you all again, and I will talk to you all tomorrow night on the next episode of Salcedo Paranormal. Take care.